Welcome back to the channel. Every time we talk about these developments, it feels like we're peeling back another layer of how fast the world of finance and blockchain is evolving. The conversation today started with something that might have slipped under the radar for a lot of people, but if you pay attention, it's actually monumental. There's chatter, speculation, and even partial confirmations that Zebec network has formed some kind of partnership or collaborative alignment with Swift. For some of you, that name might not trigger the weight it should, so let's slow down and really examine what this could mean. When someone drops a line like, Zebec is partners with Swift, your first instinct might be to shrug it off, maybe even assume it's just marketing language. But if you dig into the wording, the context, and the structure of how this is being communicated, it's not hard to see that there's more truth than exaggeration here. This is not some minor announcement or a token PR stunt. It's the kind of foundational shift that can redefine where Zebec Network sits in the broader hierarchy of crypto projects. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. Nothing discussed here should be considered financial advice. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. Cryptocurrency markets are volatile, and investing involves risk. You should never invest more than you can afford to lose. Let's break it down so that anyone, even someone who's never transferred money across borders before, can follow along. Imagine you're 10 years old and you're trying to understand what Swift is. Think of it as a giant, secure messaging system for banks. Its full name is the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, and it's not some obscure little company. It's the backbone of global financial communication. The funny part is, Swift doesn't actually move money itself. That's a misconception a lot of beginners have. Instead, Swift provides the rails of communication. When you send money from your bank in one country to another bank halfway across the world, your bank uses Swift to send a standardized encrypted message that says, hey, debit this account and credit that account. It's like the difference between the letter you send and the money itself. The letter contains the instructions, but the actual physical movement is handled separately. Now, before Swift came along in the 1970s, banks were struggling with outdated and inconsistent methods of communicating internationally. They had to rely on phone calls, faxes, or an archaic system known as telex. It was slow, vulnerable to errors, and simply not built for the speed and scale of modern finance. Then came Swift, which changed the game completely. Suddenly, banks could communicate in a universal, secure, and efficient language. To put the scale into perspective, more than 11,000 financial institutions across over 200 countries use Swift every single day. That's not a small circle. That's practically every major bank, central bank, and financial entity you can think of. It's the very bloodstream of the global economy. So, if we were to simplify it even further, Swift is basically like WhatsApp for banks, but way more secure, way more regulated, and way more essential. Instead of sending memes or emojis, banks use it to send payment instructions. The comparison might sound funny, but it really helps you picture the idea. Just imagine banks texting each other, debit this account, credit that account. The reason it matters so much is because without that standardized, secure messaging framework, international money transfers would be chaotic, slow, and vulnerable to fraud. And now, with Zebec potentially being in partnership with Swift, you can start to sense the magnitude of what's happening. This isn't just about a crypto project adding another logo to its website. This is about plugging into the very infrastructure that moves trillions of dollars daily across the planet. Now, I know some of you might be tempted to think, okay, but that doesn't really change much for me. Let me stop you right there. It changes everything. If Zebec Network is even tangentially connected to Swift, it's not just entering the conversation with banks, it's becoming part of the conversation itself. Think about what that means for adoption, credibility, and institutional trust. Partnerships in the crypto world are often thrown around loosely, but Swift doesn't operate on fluff. They don't just casually sign agreements with projects unless there's substance behind them. So, when you hear the words partnership with Swift in the same sentence as Zebec Network, understand that this is not about hype. This is about systemic integration. If Zebec is indeed stepping into Swift's ecosystem, it's happening at a moment when the entire financial world is looking for ways to blend traditional systems with blockchain innovation. We're talking about banks that have been around for centuries suddenly realizing they need to evolve or risk irrelevance. Zebec being part of that transition positions it not just as another altcoin, but as a critical bridge between two worlds that used to be completely separate. Imagine being able to stream payments, manage payroll, or execute cross-border transfers directly through a system that communicates seamlessly with Swift. That's not just innovation, that's evolution. What excites me even more is that Zebec isn't making small, incremental steps. They're not out here celebrating minor updates. They're leaping forward, making bold moves that place them miles ahead of other projects in the same space. Zebec Network is ranked 150 out of 9,530 active cryptocurrencies. It holds a market cap of $360 million with a daily trading volume of $13.34 million. That's not just impressive growth, it's a sign of momentum. In fact, the project saw a 30% increase just over the past weekend. Those numbers tell a story of adoption, of interest, and of a community that's rapidly expanding. Speaking of community, let's talk about the holders. The target for this week is 84,000 holders, and based on the pace, that number is looking very realistic. Just a few days ago, the very next day, that number nearly doubled to around 70. At this pace, 84,000 holders by the end of the week isn't just a goal, it's practically inevitable. And remember, every new holder represents not just an investor, but a vote of confidence in the future of the project. The fact that Zebec is growing at this rate in a market that's still recovering from volatility shows the resilience of the project and the loyalty of its base. Now, I know some of you love hearing about multipliers and gains, so let's not leave that out. Recently, Zebec and associated meme coins have posted some eye-catching returns: 11x, 8x, and 55x in recent times. These aren't small percentages. These are the kinds of numbers that can change financial trajectories. And while meme coins tend to ride waves of hype, the difference here is that Zebec combines that momentum with real-world utility and partnerships that add actual backbone to the price action. It's not just about speculative pumps, it's about sustainable growth fueled by innovation and adoption. And for those who crave deeper analysis, don't worry. Zebec also provides weekly reports that dig into crypto data, market movements, and analysis not only of Zebec, but also of other altcoins. This is important because staying informed is half the battle in crypto. Too many investors jump in blind, chasing green candles without understanding the fundamentals. Zebec's approach ensures that its community isn't just speculating kill. Zebec's rise feels even more remarkable. The market is flooded with thousands of projects, but only a handful will survive the long-term shakeout. The fact that Zebec is climbing, expanding its user base, securing partnerships, and gaining recognition while others are fading is a testament to its strategy. And this isn't just about being another project in the pile. Zebec is carving out a leadership role, showing that it can combine cutting-edge technology with institutional alignment. That's a combination you rarely see, and it's the recipe for long-term relevance. Zebec is not just another name in the crypto market. If this Swift connection is as real as it appears, then we're witnessing the birth of a project that could redefine how banks, institutions, and individuals handle money across borders. Think about it. The traditional world of finance, with its rigid structures and slow processes, finally meeting the flexible, programmable, and borderless capabilities of blockchain. Zebec stands at that intersection, and it's not just standing still, it's sprinting ahead. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth crypto updates and analysis. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload.